One of my favorite parts of the retreat is that people come in really in one way. For example, they will say, I have my website, or they'll say, I have my positioning statement, and they'll tell me all of these things that they have, and yet still they're not making any money. And then they'll get here and they'll say, okay, so clearly I needed to nail my credibility statements a little bit. I needed to really recognize who my ideal client, and they kind of get all these breakthroughs. They walk away with like all the stuff that they didn't have before. But what's cool is it's not just a bunch of stuff that sits on notepads. They actually have an action plan in which to use to go forward quickly. So I love that. I love that they have so much to take, that they've done so much, but then they have so much to take with them to be successful.
The most valuable thing I picked up was this idea of triggers, and everybody having specific triggers that motivate them, and really making sure that when I go back that I focus on other people's triggers and not just my own. I think it'll improve business because now I'm speaking their language. So the thing I won't forget is Donna. I won't forget Donna critiquing my presentations. That's the one thing I won't forget, how detailed she got, and she brought out so many little things, and then I went back and corrected, and it sounded much better. So I was really grateful for her taking the time to critique what I was doing.
And there's no real way for you to truly impact people. You might motivate them a little bit, but you can't really impact people's action taking. So this is a little bit different. So we do the retreats in a much smaller area. It's only 15 to 20 people. They learn something, they take action on something, they get that something validated, and then they go on to the next building block. And you consistently do that over 3 days, so you're actually starting and revving up that engine towards moving forward. It's so intimate, it's so personal, it's so much time that's taken to get, not just what you know as an expert, but your head, your heart, and your spirit into your business.
It has been a remarkable weekend. I have more clarity than I had initially, and I actually see more value in what I provide. The tools were amazing because I've had different coaches, and each one had their, I had sales coaching, and then I had brand coaching, and it was like, okay, what do I do with this? And it's like I'm trying to connect, and I'm looking on the internet, and I'm wanting another coach, and I need a coach to do this, I need a coach to do that, to create a program. And it's like her entire retreat gives you from start to finish to an actual program. And it was like, oh my God, it gives you that complete.
Who you think your target market is not your target market. Who you think your ideal client is not your ideal client. What you thought your positioning statement was and how it rocked, yeah, it didn't rock. So sometimes you only have 3 days, so you really don't have a whole lot of time for ego stroking and hand holding. It's really a time for, I could lie to you and people could lie to you here and have you spin your wheels and waste your time. Or we have experts in the room that have been there and done that, and they have the expertise, and they'll tell you, hey, this is the truth. This is what it looks like from a business, if you're coming into businesses, and this is how we want to help work with you so you can move forward. So our whole goal is to keep people from wasting time, because it's the most valuable thing you have, to expedite their path and get to where they want to go faster.
Getting into the high profit zone this weekend exceeded my expectations tenfold. And that is a hard thing, I must say, to do for me, because I'm particular, I'm extra, and you have to be really smart to get me excited. She's really smart. I've been to a lot of conferences. I've been to a lot of seminars. I have invested thousands of dollars in myself to figure out what I figured out in 2 days being in this mansion. Simply phenomenal. And if you are stuck, like I've been stuck, didn't have a clear direction for your business, I walked in not knowing what I wanted to do. I'm walking out with a full business plan, a value proposition, copy, and I don't write copy, and mine sounds pretty darn good. 2 days. Get here. Change your life.
There are people doing like communal breakfast in the morning, like, hey, you want a waffle? You want some eggs? Like, people are cooking for each other and helping out each other. So there's this whole community of things that happen. So people kind of take ownership of the space because they're participating in taking care of the space, right? So that's a big thing, because we want them to feel like this is their home, because this is the future that they are creating. So they're creating this future, and what I need them to do is know that it's already there and the future is waiting for them to catch up with it, right? And so this is part of that. This is what it would feel like if you were home.
Here in the house though, the one thing I would have to say was the best. Now this is gonna sound kind of whatever, but I love the food. There's something about being able to eat with folks you don't know from different places and share food and have conversations and drink good wine and just be in the moment. The place. Oh my gosh, I got a shower in my place. Literally, it looks like 007 shower there. It's a beautiful thing. I got the best bed. I mean, our room is awesome. Donna, does a really good job of sharing the best and then saying, now I challenge you to go get it.
We bring experts from all walks of life that can give feedback to everyone. So I learn from every expert that walks in the room. I learn things about industries, about roles, about even locations that I hadn't learned before. So what that does is then it gives me even more knowledge that when the next retreat comes around, I'm like kind of curating all this knowledge and expertise. And there are people that were experts at my last retreat that they're such an expert that I'm like, you gotta come back and share that knowledge at the next one. It really makes a big difference to be able to curate and collect that experience from everyone so that I can keep sharing it with others.
It is actually very good to have been in a group this weekend, because that way you get to get an idea of how you're doing in a way that you don't get when you're all by yourself. And also in the other small business, I've been to several small business groups trying to get things started. And this makes more sense, and the people here are thinking the same way, and we're marching in the same kind of direction as far as trying to get independent, one-person companies going in this way and in that way. And so that solopreneur piece, and even those who have a larger company but they're thinking of doing something on the side, or it's just a mentality that's very nice. And it's good to be in a group, and it's almost like church. You know that you're not necessarily in step with the whole world, but you're in step with these people, and that's great.
I learned, the one thing that I can tell you that I learned is that if you give people an opportunity to find financial freedom and corporate colonization, that they will legitimately get in there and do the work. People aren't so stuck on the agenda has to be very rigid in a specific way. They're more stuck on, am I going to get the results? So I learn a lot about people. I got to tell you, we spend more time laughing.
It was nailing that chart where it's like your value proposition, your positioning statement, your triggers, your kryptonite, all of that. Oh my God, it was like, I got it, because it's been pieces up until having it click. Because even yesterday, this morning, I was just like, oh, am I gonna get it? It's like, have you ever been to that place where you feel like you're like right there. You're just right there and you can't get it to get there? And it got there. And I was like, okay, I just got to get that little validation. So during one of the breaks, I said, okay, Donna, look, I think I got it. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, woo! So I am just like, I feel like a champagne bottle ready to be popped, where you hear the cork go pop, and the foam bubbles come up. Yeah, that's me right now.